Oh, yeah. Round of applause for Zuma, if you would. And you gotta make some noise for our host. Bring up to Mr. JJ. Love that, too.
Man, Randy, guys, keep it going for one more time. Fuck yeah. When he's not telling jokes or making dope-ass flyers, he's slinging some bingo. You know what I mean? Catch him doing some bingo. Follow him on the Instagram. What's up? Monday Night Faster Home. Get a bratwurst and feel worse about yourself when you don't win bingo. You know what I mean? Alright guys, we're going to keep this thing going. You guys ready for this? Alright, this next comic, coming all the way down from Wichita, Kansas. Y'all give it up for Erick Zayas.
Man, how's everybody doing tonight? My first time being in Oklahoma City. This is awesome. Oh yeah, they got the good toilet paper here. Oh, Wichita sucks. I go out every night. That's just like my asshole becomes my little wife. Man, I love it here. I actually just got back from downtown, or that Bricktown. Super dope. But I saw a lot of couples. Didn't like it. It reminds me of like the dating scene, and I hate it. Absolutely hate the dating scene. Are there any couples here? A few of them? I don't know. Maybe not. Not in public. Not in public. Private, maybe. Can't say it out loud. Can't say it out loud. No, man, it really does. I hate dating. The dating scene for me, I'm only 23 years old. I know my hairline's like, yeah, I don't know about that, buddy. Yeah, no, man. I hated it. It just sucks, man. I'm actually the ugly friend in my friend group. It's hard to believe, I know it, I get it, right? But I found out like the super hard way. I was hanging out with my buddy Cam and I posted on my Snapchat story, right? I had a young girl swipe up and she's like, oh my God, who's your friend? And I'm like, that's Cam, but like, what about me though? This bitch hits me with LOL, quit it. I'm like, I hate you. I really do. So I had to like, I had to just expand, you know? The whole Snapchat game wouldn't work for me, so I started up Tinder. Right? Like I said, I'm from Wichita, but I'm actually from a small town, a couple hours from Wichita, and dating and Tinder in a small town is like a family reunion, you know? It's like, it just doesn't work out. It's like, oh, Aunt Carrie's looking pretty good. She's my second aunt, so it kind of works out. So I really had to like expand the whole like 100-mile like Tinder radius, you know what I mean? And so I actually met a girl, right? Her bio said she was a young, cute, athletic girl. I'm like, that's fucking good enough, let's go, you know? It's like 11, 12 in that night, but she's from 2 hours away, right? So she came over, and obviously we're not playing checkers, you know? We know what's about to go down. And I get a text saying, hey, I'm here. I was like, okay, that's cool, just knock and come in. And then I hear a big old just doof, doof, doof at the door. I'm like, ooh, that sounded a little masculine. That sounded really masculine, right? So I'm kind of nervous. She drove 2 hours, I gotta give her the benefit of the doubt, right? I opened the door and I'm just, I saw a girl that was 6'4", 250, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm about to have sex with Brock Lesnar. But I slayed that beast. I did. I had to. And the funny thing about that, man, we actually like dated for a little bit, you know? And it was kind of cool, but like I said, she was a little taller than me, you know? So every time, you know, we started arguing, she started like growing more. So she's like, she's hovering over me. I'm just a scared little boy, like, whatever you want. So I had to, you know, I had to stop fucking with giants. I did. I did, man. And listen, I know I don't look Mexican, right? I am. I'm 100% Mexican. I'm from the motherland, you know? Like, my back is so wet. Like, that's how Mexican I am. You know what I mean? I know you get it. I mean, you're dressed like Mark Wahlberg if you never look at me. He's clapping like, yeah! Listen, bro, you look like Chris Angel if you moved to Oklahoma City. I was so scared to say that. I was so nervous to say that. It's like the 17 chains that he has on too, that's what. Start weighing himself down. Like on a chiropractor every week for that neck. Don't be laughing either. I'm coming up to you. She has the Undertaker hat ready just to lay it down.
She likes the suplex.
Take it to SmackDown, dog. Man, I like y'all, dog. Cool. Hey, you better walk away, dog. You better walk away. I'm sorry, dog. It's gonna be like 3 years later. Like, remember Holy Chris Angel? I said, man, like I said, I am Mexican, which is really cool. You know, I grew up in Mexico for a little bit. We moved over here, so obviously when I started dating, I started, you know, the American dream. I started dating white girls, which is, you know, it's dope. That's what I'm saying. But listen, bro, like my parents have to get paper somehow, dog. Like that's the easiest solution. You know, she got to like lie for like 5 years. It's not that big of a deal, right? But it was cool for a little bit until they started getting crazy on it. They started throwing astrology at me. You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, I don't even know what any of this shit means. Right? We start arguing. She's like, you're acting like a Sagittarius. Like, bitch, I'm dyslexic. I don't know what any of this means. My reading disorder has nothing to do with this argument right now. You know? And she's like, oh, you're talking like an Aquarius. I'm like, you met my dog. I didn't even. You came over. I don't own fish. I'm allergic to shellfish. I don't like this. Yeah, but you know, I kind of got over that. I said, whatever. That's kind of petty for me, man. You know, hold it over. So she actually invited me to a barbecue, and you know the whole political thing was going on, which was weird. But when I came over, it was the first time meeting her dad. Old school white dude. You know what I mean? The old cop haircut, fat, beer belly. You know. But I walk up to him like, listen, I gotta get this out of the way, right? As I'm walking up to him, I see further into the garage, right? And I see a giant just Trump 2020 flag. And I'm like, oh, elephant in the room, Mexicans Trump. There's like a border between us. There's some reason. I don't know, man. It's getting bigger somehow. I don't know. But I finally walk up to him, right? I'm like, hey, sir, my name's Erick Zayas. And he's like, Zayas? That sounds a little foreign. I'm like, bro, what? Okay, you know, whatever. And as we're talking, I realize he's looking down on me. He doesn't like me. It's my background, right? And so I was like, I gotta earn his respect. So how do you earn Trump supporters' respect? I grabbed his daughter by the pussy, and it was like smooth sailing. I was so nervous about that. I was nervous to say that. I had Eminem with the lazy eye staring at me the entire time when I was saying that. I'm just teasing. Too far. He's like, fuck, I should have came back. Yeah, bro, I'm 23 with no hair, dog. It's just amazing. But so yeah, man. So like I said, being Mexican was really cool. Actually, I did the whole stereotypical thing. I started working when I was really young. You know, I was like 11 years old working at my parents' Mexican restaurant. And where we lived was close to a military base. So we had a whole bunch of military guys always coming over thinking they ruled the place. And so I started getting into an argument with one. And we're arguing back and forth, and he finally stands up. He's like, son, I fought for your freedom. And I'm staring at him like, freedom? I don't know. I'm fucking illegal, dog. There ain't no freedom. There ain't no freedom to be talking here. And I start looking around, I was like, bro, do you know where you're at? Like one phone call, we're shutting this whole place down, dude. Like the dude who made that quesadilla, you ain't want to know his name, bro. Yeah, sure. He's fucking around with Jewish Social right now, actually. But yeah, man, actually, I moved to Wichita not too long ago, which it was cool. It's like 5 times the size of like my hometown, so I actually got to like experience the world, really. So I started dating Asian chicks, which was really great. So like the whole dyslexia kind of like evens out because they're really good at math, They reached for me, so that's really dope. Until we started getting kind of serious. So I brought her over for Christmas. And now like Mexicans, we're not really like known to be like fucking around with Asians, And I finally like found that out, right? Because my dad was just out of pocket. This dude's old school. Like old school. I told him, I was like, Dad, I might be depressed. He's like, you're watching too much TV. Like that's how like old school he is. You don't believe in that, right? And so I call him, I was like, hey Dad, I'm bringing Chelsea over. for Christmas dinner. We're getting kind of serious. I think you guys should meet each other. He's like, oh, great. She's a white girl, right? Another one? And I was like, no, she's actually Asian. And he's like, ooh, we're having orange chicken for dinner, aren't we? I'm like, dude, get these out of the way now. Get these out of the way now. Right? So we walk, we finally arrived. When we walked through the front door, and then my sister all of a sudden started taking up karate. Like, we walk in, she's like, I'm ready. And I'm like, what are you doing? You know? So we start like getting everything ready. We had the turkey, the ham, the tamales. And for some reason, my mom made fried rice. I was like, what is this? When are we doing this, man? And then in the background, she's playing Dragon Ball Z. I'm like, I don't even think you like this. And she's like, don't worry, I got Yu-Gi-Oh on next. I'm like, what are we doing? And so my dad starts talking to Chelsea, and he's like, so where's your family from? And she's like, oh, they're from Vietnam. He goes, oh, that's cool. What part of China is that from? I'm like, bro, what the fuck? What are you doing? He's like, oh, I thought it was all the same thing. I'm like, this guy, this dude. But it worked out. It worked out pretty good. I just had a baby with her, so that's pretty cool. You don't gotta clap. It's alright. You don't gotta clap. Anybody can do it, really. Just keep drinking, and you forget to pull out. So but the whole pregnancy is actually really cool. It's beautiful, they say. I don't really understand that. They kept calling her an unexpected blessing. I'm like, yeah, not really though. We gotta start calling kids what they are and just accidents. And my girlfriend got mad. She's like, Eric, she's not an accident. And I was like, I don't know. We weren't necessarily planning the next 18 years when her leg was behind her back, her finger was in my ass. Like, this really wasn't working. We weren't thinking. It wasn't on the to-do list. It definitely wasn't. So then I started getting curious. I was like, damn, was I an accident? So I called my mom. I was like, hey, I got just a quick question. And she's like, what's going on? And I was like, hey, I'm just talking. I was talking with some friends. Was I an accident? And she's like, you see your dad around? And I was like, that's a good question. You got me. Please give it back. She's like, as we're on the phone, she's like, just like your hairline left when you were way too young. That hurt my feelings, honestly. I wish I was joking. I was, man. And I moved to Wichita so I could pursue comedy. And it's going pretty good. But when I told my mom, she was actually kind of disappointed. After my second dropout from college, I was like, hey mom, I think I'm gonna start pursuing comedy. She's like, who told you were funny? I'm like, bitch. A lot of people actually. I'm the funny one in the friend group. She's like, no, you're the ugly one. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. That is wrong. She made me feel bad. This is her like, yeah. I seen her walk up. He had to bring the drinks to her. She can't get her. Can barely keep her eyes open. She walked through the door and I got high. Thought she was Asian for a little bit. She's not. She can't see. Man, this is a lot of fun. I'm glad I came. Good toilet paper, good laughs. No, actually I am. I'm moving to Oklahoma City in September. Yeah. We go weed, so that's cool. I can see Eminem every other weekend. We got one of the sisters from TLC here. That's what's up. We got Jackie Chan's cousins. I think you and my girl are related somehow. But speaking of my mom, man, it was actually kind of cool. We were from a small town. I said she's super old school. Old school. She learned English from watching Friends. That's how old school she is, right? So you can just imagine how she reacted when I first brought my black friend Tyler over to the house. This bitch almost had a heart attack, right? I opened the door and I'm like, hey mom, is it cool if I bring a friend over? And he's like, yeah, of course. So she's walking through the door and my friend Tyler walks through the door and she's just, my dad's like, hey brother, how's it going? And my mom's like, what is since when are you friends with El Chocolate? And I'm like, my friend was like, hey, what's going on? What's going on there? She don't know no better. It's all right. But like I said, man, the whole pregnancy part was really cool. It hurt my ego actually. So doing comedy, I get around a lot. I get a lot of compliments. Hey, man, you're really funny. Sometimes you're like, hey, you're not that ugly, you know. So it was, the whole pregnancy was actually like an eye opener, right? Everybody walks up to her, hey, congratulations, so beautiful. Oh my God, congratulations. And I was like, man, nobody's coming up to me and saying any of this. You know, like I texted my buddies in the group chat, like, hey man, I got pregnant. And they're like, ooh, oh, I get weak in it. One of them hit me with you're gonna treat it like it's yours? I'm like, oh. And it just started hurting my feelings, man, because nobody's walking up to me just like, hey, congratulations, dog. Good shit, buddy. No, nobody's doing that. But one of the biggest fears I had with the whole pregnancy part was like, I didn't want her to be allergic to like stupid stuff, like peanuts. You know, if anybody's allergic to peanuts, grow up. Honestly, grow up. But then I started thinking, like, it wouldn't be that bad, because I could discipline her really good. Like, she starts acting out, you know, in her teenage years. Dad, I hate you, bitch. Throw almonds at her. It's like a gunshot. Or I put her in timeout and just put like walnuts around the corner. Leave now. I dare you. But the biggest fear I had, right? And this sounds a little petty, right? But I was actually really scared of her being ugly. Like, I didn't want an ugly baby. And I don't think I'm the only one to say this. And the thing, like, I actually had an ugly baby. I did. That little girl's like hideous. Yeah, bro, but it was super depressing because every single time, like, everybody holds her, they're like, oh my God, she looks just like her dad. Man, I had a ball, man. You guys are such a great time. My name is Erick Zayas. Thank you guys so much.
Erick Zayas, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it going for him one more time. All the way from Wichita. He drove 2 hours to do this, man. It's fantastic. And did he make fun of you guys? He did.